Alright, so I did some things with the Enjomor here. I did have to reset TikTok because my videos were not... It was posted, but only like a certain amount of people could see it, so I'm not sure what was going on. Regardless, it should work now. I did some work on the Enjomor. First thing I started out with was, thankfully it's already off, the distributor here. What comes on the distributor is brass Phillips head screws. I'm going to be honest with you, no matter how careful you are, they're going to strip, and they're M2 by 9, so they're really long. I would swap out for M2 by 6s. You can see the new screws with the hex head or whatever it's called in there, slightly sanded. You want them to stick out just a hair. I can just barely feel those as a speed bump. And that's because the strip here, sorry, my focus is not great. I have to use a stupid third-party app because my camera app doesn't work. That strip is slightly recessed. So the severe gap of the old screws, because they sat in way farther than these new screws, was too much of a gap for that spark. So at times I did have spark, times I didn't have spark. And because this is recessed, this entire flat plastic part sits happily on these screws and keeps just enough of a gap. It is going to corrode, it is going to carbon up, but some sandpaper will clean that off if you start losing spark. Just keep an eye on it. Another thing I did was Control-Alt-Delete the valve cover gasket. Sorry, I'm trying to think of words. And I have the old one right here, and you can see that it was squished in the middle here pretty good, and not squished towards the back. And in fact, you can see these middle pieces here because the head of this engine is obviously two parts, but kind of sticks up. Like, the head is pretty deep. A lot of the stuff sits deep down in here because it pumps oil through the block, through the head, and into these grooves right here where there's tiny little holes that drip down right onto the rocker arm because it's a dual camshaft. It's intake, exhaust. The gasket not crimping right here was causing these 4 ports to fill up with oil entirely, which is not good. You want to kind of retain your engine oil in your engine. You know, I'm just saying. So that was sealed, that was gooped. But that wasn't my main problem. It was like weeping straight lines down from behind the camshaft gears. So I thought the camshaft gears were leaking. Nope, they have seals on both sides. They're not leaking oil. You can clearly see I've marked mine before I took off the belt. This is at top dead center of its combustion stroke. I probably did it wrong. Fight me. But it works because I got it back to where it's supposed to be. Can't yell at me if it works. And it's smart. I recommend you mark your spots so they're correct. But no, turns out this engine has 4 holes on it. There's 2 right here, and there's 2 on the other side. So they originally had these holes. These holes allowed them to put in the support rod for your rocker assembly. That's how you do it. They put like a tacky putty in here for whatever reason. I think it was supposed to solidify, but it didn't, so it would just weep out of all 4 holes. So we got those JB welded. JB Weld will come out. It's not the end of the world. So we got that sealed. So now this is completely sealed, which is great. And then the last thing that I did was pick up a thermostat, another thermostat, and then spliced it in with my fan, because both take 12 volts. So I grabbed my little lead acid battery. Do this one-handed without touching both terminals, please. Come on. Come on. Yep. You might be jank, but Bam. Bam. Fucking thermostat. Fan works. Look at that. And the thermostat, I just drilled a hole and crammed and JB welded it right there. I probably should have put it towards the bottom, but you know, it's a one-way direction radiator, so it's not going to matter that much. But that's pretty much it. That's all I did for this engine. Right out of the box, it's ready to go. I love this thing. It's fantastic. It's one of my favorite engines, and once that JB weld on the radiator dries, I'll finish priming it and just take more videos of it running.